Gather around!
It's story time!
The Giant and Four Friends. In a quaint, forgotten corner of the world, nestled between rolling hills and thick, ancient woods, lived four inseparable friends. Among them was Ludwig. While his pockets were always empty, his heart was a boundless well of kindness. If a neighbor's cow went missing, Ludwig was the first to search. If a harvest failed, he was the first to share his meager crust of bread. But, as often happens when someone shines too brightly, the others in the village began to whisper, and his three best friends were the loudest among them. They grew bitter, consumed by a green-eyed envy that soured their friendship. One brisk autumn day, seeking a break from the monotony of village life, the four decided to trek deep into the sprawling, uncharted forest. They walked for hours, marveling at the towering pines and listening to the rhythmic chirping of birds, until the golden afternoon faded into a deep, velvety twilight. They stopped, looking around in sudden panic. The path was gone. The shadows had stretched into long, grasping fingers.
We're lost. We'll never find our way back in this dark.
Just then, a faint, flickering glow pierced the gloom. Nestled in a clearing, grand and imposing against the night sky, stood a castle. It was pristine, as if the forest floor had been polished just for it. Exhausted and desperate, the group made their way inside. It was a marvel, opulent tapestries, warm hearths, and soft furs. Yet, chillingly, it was entirely empty. Their awe, however, turned to terror when a thundering tremor shook the floorboards. Thump, thump, thump! A giant hulking figure stepped into the hall, his shadow looming over them like a thundercloud.
A feast! 4 tiny morsels for my evening meal!
They scrambled for the doors, but they were locked fast. They pleaded, they begged, they promised him anything. Finally, the giant crossed his massive arms and sighed.
Fine. Bring me a wild beast from the forest, and I shall let you go. But one must stay as a hostage. If the others do not return, the hostage becomes the main course.
The friends looked at one another, eyes wide with cowardice. Ludwig, noble to the end, stepped forward.
I will stay.
The three friends didn't hesitate. They practically sprinted for the exit, relieved it wasn't them, while secretly relishing the thought that their troublesome, perfect friend would finally be out of the picture. As they reached the edge of the woods, they stopped.
Why go back? Let the giant keep him. If he's gone, we'll finally be the most popular in the village.
Back in the great hall, the giant peered down at Ludwig.
Your friends are halfway to the village by now. They have abandoned you.
I believe they are still hunting for the beast. They will return.
The giant looked at the young man, his fierce expression softening into a radiant, blinding glow. The monster began to shrink and shift, his leathery skin transforming into shimmering robes of light until a serene angel stood before him.
Ludwig, your friends have failed the test of character. But you have passed the test of loyalty. Because you would not cast aside your faith in others, even when betrayed, you shall be rewarded.
The next morning, Ludwig walked back to his village, confused and weary. But as he crested the hill, he stopped in disbelief. Where his small, crooked shack once stood, a magnificent palace now sparkled in the morning sun, overflowing with gold, grain, and every comfort a person could dream of. The villagers gathered in awe, and the three former friends came running, their faces pale with shock and shame.
Ludwig, how did you escape the giant?
Ludwig told them everything, the fear, the wait, and the angel's final judgment. As the story unfolded, the three friends looked down, the weight of their envy finally bowing their heads. They stood there, humbled and ashamed, realizing that while they had traded a friend for a cowardly comfort, Ludwig had gained a kingdom because he had simply remained himself.
Hope you liked the story. Please come back for more.